Hey, Mike Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you. It's great to catch up with you again. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, I've really been putting our promo, our international promo guy. I've been putting him through the paces. Trying to get as much as I can. I want to talk to as many people as possible, just to get the word out about our tour that's coming up. I really want to spread the news.
Indeed, and here we are under the same circumstances as last time. Welcome you back to Australia in 2019. Man, thank you very much for coming back to see us.
Happy to. We've never had a bad time in Oz. It's been a really welcoming and happy place for us. Every time we come to visit, we always say, "Why does it take us so long to always come back to Australia?" And we never really come up with a good answer for that. But we always are. We're always saying that we should come more often.
Indeed, and luckily we'll have you on Wednesday, February 13th at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, on the Friday the 15th at Kurdos Bank Arena, and Saturday, February 16th back at Rod Laver, whereas I recall last time in 2015 you had an absolute hoot, but I'm not entirely sure everybody would remember that gig.
You were there.
I was indeed. It was a good time. I've got to tell you,
it was
enjoyable.
A couple of drinks might have been had by everyone.
Well, look, it still was great fun, and I've got to tell you, my young son has picked up the bass from that night, and he hasn't put it down again. You'd be proud to know.
Good. Well, that's really great. Both of my kids play the bass too, and if you feel it, you gotta go with it, because it's not like just being another guitar player. If you feel the bass, it's for you.
Oh, absolutely. And while we're on the subject of playing bass, enjoying tours, what is it, Mike? What do you enjoy most about going back on the road and revisiting places from all over the world?
Well, me, I no matter what's happening in my life, the 2 hours on stage every night is the best part of every day when we're on tour. It's just so much fun. It's why we do it. It's a blast. We, like I say, it doesn't matter what kind of conflict you've had, or if you've had a bad day, or whatever it is. When we get on stage, it's all that just drains away, and we just enjoy it. It's so nice to get out there and play for people. So that's really special, and to get to play music for a living is really preposterously, it's such a gift. I can't even believe that we get this. It's pretty special to be able to get this opportunity to do this for a living. So we're very grateful, absolutely. But the other thing is when you're out there, it's kind of cool to just sort of try to disappear in these places and kind of just sort of put yourself in the life of a city or a country, for that matter, for the time you're there, for the very, very short time you're there. That is really cool. Just trying to figure out what do people who live here do. Not really being a tourist so much as kind of trying to get embedded in a place and in the sort of rhythm of that place for a day or two. Really cool.
Indeed. I mean, that certainly explains you having a few drinks before going on at Rod Laver. I mean, that's what most of us do before work here in Melbourne.
Well, I guess we're just observing the local culture.
Absolutely agreed. And you have provided such a poignant soundtrack to all of our lives. It doesn't matter what event. There's not too far before or after a Nickelback song there somewhere. What about the crowd themselves? Do you remember when you first noticed a multi-generational following in the crowd in front of you? The young, the old, grandparents, kids. Do you remember a particular time when that took you by surprise?
I don't remember a particular time, but I do remember it was about 5 years ago. and I don't remember particularly where or when exactly it was, but it just started to change. In the beginning of our career, it was that whole 18 to 29, male demographic that, was who we would look out there and we would see those. And then at some point, more ladies started showing up, and that's great. And then after that, it's more generations and more sort of age groups started showing up. And you know this. It's cool that you know that it is a wide demographic now.
You keep producing so much for us to follow, though, so it's a little surprise. I mean, since last time you were here, you provided us with a fantastic Feed the Machine just in 2017, so we're thrilled to have the opportunity to hear some of it live. Would you be playing a few tracks from that album for us, given that it is the FTM tour?
I think. Well, first of all, we haven't written a set list yet because we don't do anything in an organized fashion ever. But I'm going to take that into a meeting, and hopefully we'll be playing at least a couple from Feed the Machine, I hope.
And do you find that that's a constant pressure? No matter how much you expand your catalogue, there's still that desire and that need to have those live old classics played for us. Do you find that pressure's always there for each gig?
We've got to do it. If we showed up there and didn't play How You Remind Me, I think I don't know if we'd be invited back. There's just certain things like that we do because we know that's what our fans want, and so we try to stay consistent with that line of thinking, and that means that, we played, Someday 100,000 times. And, we played How You Remind Me like 500,000 times. But the people want it. They want to hear that. And we'll continue to deliver what people want. And that's really important to us.
Which makes the party, of course. And you're bringing Bad Wolves with you. So, I mean, I can only imagine if they don't play Zombie, you'll have a nasty crowd ready for you guys.
Well, we weren't really aware of Bad Wolves until we heard from our friends in Australia that were helping us put this tour together about Bad Wolves. And, it turns out they're from the city I live in, and I didn't know know about them, which is,
wow.
It's kind of odd, but they really popped it open in Oz, and their name came up, and then I started doing some homework on them, and I'm like, oh, man, these guys are from Los Angeles. What the hell is that all about? And, now I have a better understanding of, what they are, because it is very much like they're very much like a heavy metal supergroup. You got members of different prominent heavy metal bands, and they got together, and just so happened, that they were going to do that cover of Zombie with that lady Dolores, and the plot twisted and she died, just as they were doing that. So it's pretty unique set of circumstances all kind of coalescing at one time that made for a very interesting story. I'm looking forward to meeting those guys.
Absolutely, indeed. We're looking forward to them opening up things for you here in Australia as well. And while you're talking about that, I'm reminded of last time we spoke, and we were talking about your last encounter with Dimebag Darrell. You're a good friend of the band and also contributor on tracks like The Side of a Bullet. But at the same time, you last saw him in Dallas with Damage Plan. I mean, there was also Vinnie Paul, who's sadly passed since. Losing people around you in this industry, does that have you reflecting on how long the band has been at it and productive?
Well, with the story of Dime and Vinny it's a pretty tragic story all the way to truth is that I think Vinny gave up a lot when he had to witness his brother being murdered. I think he lost a lot of his life, and I really felt like he was so sad that he didn't really want to be alive anymore. He really struggled until the end. Like, it never got better for him. It was a really horrible experience. Obviously, seeing your only brother get murdered on stage while performing, but then following that, he had his bands. He played Hell Yeah, and he did some things, and but I don't think anything could distract him from how sad he was, and he struggled terribly with it after dying. Was killed. He really had a hard time. So it was kind of tragic from the beginning. Like, the tragedy began, and that day, that anniversary just went by a few days ago, and I keep in touch with the guy who is the responding police officer who had to take out the shooter that day. And he sends me a text message every year on that anniversary. And it just went by last week, and ever since that day, I don't think Vinny was the same ever again. Unfortunately, I think it broke him, and that's a terrible, terrible thing. And it was really hard because Vin would come out and see us play. He came out and saw us playing bass and stuff, and it's just sad. He was just really sad.
Absolutely. I appreciate you even fielding that question. Of course, we both, I know, intend nothing but to honour the memory of both Diane and of Vinny. The fact is, words like intestinal fortitude spring to me with people like Vinny. Just how he had the strength to continue on after that day at all was beyond my comprehension. But thank you for telling us a little about it, and the history between you guys is something profound. I can only imagine what it's like for you personally.
Oh yeah, so it was so fun. It was so fun to know those guys. They were really one of a kind, larger than life personalities. Just how you'd imagine, and like the odd drink as we know, and would definitely serve up a few drinks to you. Generally speaking, it was enough to have you carried out of whatever whatever institution you might be in. You're probably getting wheeled out of there. I ran for my life at one point. The last time I saw Dime, he was trying to incapacitate me with alcohol, and it was working.
Brilliant. What fantastic memories to go back to. Brilliant. And of course, I can ask that question because there is a particular kinship almost between Canadians and Australians. Do you feel that every time you come out here, that sort of unique relationship between our two countries and the people?
100%. You get your pleases and your thank yous, and the Australians, like the Canadians, like to have the odd beer. They make an exception and have a beer every once in a while, and good fun. And for us, it's hockey. For you, it's Aussie rules football or rugby. We both have our violent sports that we like, and there's a good kinship between the nations for sure.
And
thanks.
I understand you're very pressed for time, and I thank you very much for the opportunity to chat to you again, Mike. It's always a pleasure. If I could ask you one final question, we've always got to talk about poor Brandon. Now, there's not a lot of girls running after accountants. There's not a lot of screaming mobs wanting more and more and more. Does he ever sit with you, look at what you guys do, and think, I've really made the wrong choice here?
Poor Brandon. He's definitely not poor Brandon. Brandon is very, very happy with the way his life turned out. He's as he did in the drumming world, he's dominating in the world of finance and accounting. He's an indomitable person. Like, there's no question he was going to succeed at whatever he did, whether it was be a drummer in a rock band or being now what they call a certified financial analyst, which means he could basically be, he could work for the World Bank or whatever. Like, he's so uber, he's just so far beyond the pale, and in typical Brandon fashion, he worked for a firm for a while, pretty much took it over and bought out the owner, and now it's his, and he's a gangster, man. He's just like there's nothing going to stop this guy. So, for all the moments where he might be thinking, oh yeah, I could be out there playing drums, I don't really think he's really hurting too bad. I see him on a regular basis, and our families are very close, and they couldn't be happier.
Brilliant. And would you pass on our regards from Silver Tiger Media to Brandon and to the rest of the guys, please? We cannot wait to see you in 2019. Mike, a pleasure to speak to you again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Travel safely, my friend. See you next year.
Thank you, brother. Take care of yourself.
You too. Bye-bye.